It is my honor to introduce our speaker of the morning, Gregory Stephen Gray, Sr., who is Dean of University Chapel and University Professor of Religion and Society. We have a Renaissance man here with Dean Gray. He's Dean of the Chapel, a professor at Tuskegee University, an ordained Protestant clergyman, a creative man who's director of theater programs throughout the country, and he has advanced work in psychoanalysis. I can't think of a more Renaissance man to be our Dean of the Chapel than Dean Gregory Gray. He has served as Tuskegee University's Dean of the Chapel and University Professor since 1999. In this role, he supports the university's vision and mission through 5 areas of concentration: all university worship, which includes Faith Week, religious studies, pastoral care and counseling, administration of the chapel staff and facility, and community outreach. For 18 years, he served on the faculty of Morehouse College, teaching in the departments of philosophy and religion and psychology. He has also taught at Emory College, Atlanta University, Clark Atlanta University, and Morris Brown College. As an ordained Protestant clergyman, Dr. Gray has served congregations in Indiana, Georgia, and Alabama. His theater work includes director of Atlanta's Friendship Baptist Church, where he produced a number of plays, including James Baldwin's Amen Corner, Neil Simon's God's Favorite, Thornton Wilder's The Long Christmas Dinner, and Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Dr. Gray holds a bachelor's degree from Manchester University, a Master of Divinity degree from the Morehouse School of Religion's Interdenominational Theological Center, and an interdisciplinary PhD from Emory University's Graduate Institute of the Liberal Arts. With academic training at Emory's Psychoanalytic Institute and the Washington Center for Psychoanalysis, his career experience includes additional appointments at the Georgia Mental Health Institute and the Georgia Regional Psychiatric Hospital. He has published extensively in the areas of both psychoanalysis and religious studies. Dr. Gray is married to Linda Diane Gray, a student loan manager here at Tuskegee University, and together they have 2 adult children and 1 grandson. Dr. Gray's title of his presentation today again demonstrates his creativity, his excellence, his integrity and honor. His title is E equals MC squared. Excellence equals mature, conscientious scholarship. Please join me in welcoming to the podium our Dean of the Chapel, Gregory Gray.
Thank you, President McNair. I would like you to also acknowledge the presence of Mrs. Linda Gray, if you will, please, if you'll stand here. I refuse to live my life as a historically castrated, culturally assimilated, mentally annihilated, socially alienated, morally degraded, spiritually neglected Negro. This message is about excellence, not mediocrity. Excellence. I have chosen E equals MC squared, the world's most famous quotation associated with the name of theoretical physicist Albert Einstein. E equals mc squared is best known to the general public as Einstein's mass energy equivalence formula. It states that anything having mass has an equivalent amount of energy and vice versa. Anything having energy has an equivalent amount of mass. This morning, I ask that E equals mc squared serve as an equivalence formula for excellence and mature conscientiousness in our academic enterprise. Any scholarship possessing excellence has an equivalent amount of mature conscientiousness and vice versa. Any scholarship having mature conscientiousness has an equivalent amount of excellence. The message this morning offers the view that our academic enterprise must be understood as mature conscientiousness, accumulation of knowledge and skills, structure and discipline within a framework of the pursuit of truth in an environment of free inquiry. To efficiently and effectively address real-world issues and acquire the necessary competencies for global citizenship and service to humankind. Mature conscientiousness. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Nothing in all the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity." This quotation from King recognizes two parts of the problem. One, which is ignorance, simply not knowing. The other part of the problem is stupidity, knowing better, but choosing to act in ways that we know are not in our best interest. When was the last time you chose to do something that you knew was not in your best interest, but did it anyway? All of us know what it's like to say the words, "if only." If only I had chosen to do something else. If only I had not missed that opportunity. If only I had not done what I did. If only I had not said what I said. If only I had not been in that relationship. If only I had put myself in that situation elsewhere. If only, if only, if only. It is easy to look to the past and have our regrets. Choices we have made, things we did, words we spoke, people we let down, and so on. One has to wonder if it is possible to live a life without regrets. But consider this morning, if you will, mature conscientiousness versus conscientious stupidity. Any study of world civilizations, of human history and culture, and even the study of world religions, that's right, even the study of world religions would recognize stupidity as very much a part of the human condition. Just think of the wars that have been fought and countless lives lost from lust for power and unbridled greed. Just think of the uses of and abuses of technology to create weapons of mass destruction. Just think of the squandering of the earth's resources and the pollution of the earth's environment, the air, the soil, and the waterways. Did you know that Albert Einstein sent a letter to Franklin Delano Roosevelt indicating that atomic fusion should not be used for warfare? We learn of how even the world's religions have been used to sanction oppression based upon race, gender, class, ethnicity, or place of national origin. We have observed how stupidity may even determine the outcome of U.S. presidential elections. Somebody say amen. Stupidity has taken a central place in perpetuating all manner of human misery, meanness, and madness. But as I consider Dr. King's words, nothing in all the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity, I would add a third caution that applies to us all. It's something called envy. Let us all say envy. How often is it in life that when another person attempts to discourage you, undermine you, discredit you, devalue you, or otherwise do you in, is it because you have something that they wish they had? My brothers and sisters, those of you who are being honored here today, you have something that somebody else wants. Envy has been defined by psychoanalyst Melanie Klein as follows: the emotion associated with the idea that someone else has something that you want. Envy is a form of aggression, since it embodies a wish not only to have what the other person has, but to deprive the person of what is valuable and to make him or her suffer for having possessed it. Envy is often confused with jealousy, which involves three parties. You see, envy only requires two. Jealousy is three, has the aim of winning the exclusive love object over a rival for that love. So let us not confuse envy with jealousy this morning. Envy, as we are talking about it this morning, means that you have something that someone else wants. They want to deprive you of it. They want to make you suffer for having had it in the first place. And finally, they want to act as if you stole it from them. Envy is an ever-present enemy. Don't allow some envious person to trick you into throwing your life away. Don't allow your envy towards someone else to diminish your own character. Envy doesn't mind if we're out on a street corner, doped up, beat up, liquored up, shot up, and eventually locked up. Envy doesn't mind if you're in a street gang, in prison, or in the cemetery. The last place that some envious people want to see you this morning, the last place they want to see you is enrolled as a full-time, financially cleared student at Tuskegee University. The last place an envious person wants to see you is sitting here being honored for your scholarship, listening to the dean of the chapel talk about excellence. Let us be careful. Envy may appear anywhere. It can be in a computer lab in the library, a classroom on John Kennedy Hall, and a crowded shopping mall. Envy can be in some community social gathering. It can be in a meeting of elected officials in the municipal building down in Tuskegee. It can be in the lobby of the Kellogg Conference Center, in the auditorium of Bremer Hall. It can be in the cafeteria of Tompkins. It can be in the registrar's office of Kresge, in front of the Booker T. Washington Monument, and the arena right here in Chappie James Center. There's probably someone envious of me right now. But do you think I will lose any sleep over it? Not only do we possess the capacity for the most profound and self-destructive, self-contradictory, self-deceptive behavior, but we can even decide that self-sabotage is in our own best interest. Hear that. To allow someone to trick us into believing that self-sabotage is in our own best interest. I'm fascinated by the implications this has for who we are and our ultimate destiny. E equals MC squared. Not only does excellence equal mature, conscientious scholarship, but E, envy, equals mutual contributions spoiled. Mutual contributions spoiled. It spoils the person who envies, and it can spoil the person being envied. Melanie Klein, once again, thinks that envious impulses operate from the very beginning of life. They didn't just start when you became 18 or 13, but even in infancy. A manifestation of this primary destructiveness, to some extent, is in our very being, she would say. But she would say something else. She would say that in addition to the very seeds of envy being planted in infancy, she came to see that something called gratitude as an expression of love and thus of life itself, is also present, and it is the antithesis of envy. Within each of us, she's suggesting there is envy and there is the antithesis of envy. You and I are called upon to allow the capacity for gratitude, the capacity for appreciation not only of ourselves but of each other, to destroy the work of envy in the world. Someone say gratitude. I have something to be grateful for. I stand here today not because of the introductory remarks from Dr. McNair, but I stand here today because my forefathers and foremothers plowed somebody else's fields, cleaned somebody else's house, washed somebody else's clothes, cooked somebody else's food, reared somebody else's children, worked in somebody else's factory, and even fought somebody else's war. And therefore, I refuse to let their labor be in vain. I feel so grateful for that historical and cultural heritage that I feel that I owe them something. I feel like something is required of me, and yes, required of you, required of all of us, that we have something to give back. We need not allow low self-esteem to keep us from feeling that we don't deserve anything in life, or that we should entertain feelings of inadequacy. I'm not qualified, or I don't have it in me, or self-doubt, or self-effacement, or self-devaluation, self-negation, or even self-rejection. All of those things are the work of envy. Peer pressure, where you have to perform less than your best in order to fit in with your achievers. If you are the smartest one in the group you hang around with, you need to change groups. You see, when the spoiler, that's how we'll talk about envy. When the spoiler realizes that you and I have found that for which to be grateful for, it diminishes the impact of envy not only in our lives, but also in the life of the spoiler as well. You and I know that we can be grateful for the fact that our foreparents, yours and mine, marched too many miles, boycotted too many buses, sat in on too many lunch counters, signed too many petitions, picketed too many businesses, fought for too much legislation, got locked up in too many jails, shed too much blood, lost too many lives for you and I to give up, give out, or give in. There will always be spoilers in your life. They come out of nowhere to distract you, to annoy you, to discourage you, for you to get carried away by, to deter you from your destiny. What are the things that may prevent you from getting where you're going? You have to identify the spoilers in your life. You have yours and I have mine. They will prey upon your vulnerabilities. That's right. They need not prey upon your strengths. They'll prey upon your vulnerabilities, that which makes you more susceptible to their influence. They might give you unrealistic expectations of life. They might give you a warped value system, preventing you from establishing priorities and making responsible decisions, having self-destructive habits involving illicit drugs and alcohol, tobacco, promiscuous sex. Maybe it comes down to the question, what would it take to stop you? What would it take to stop you? My counsel to you is, don't give the spoiler the satisfaction of knowing he or she could keep you from having anything that you were destined to have. People of faith know what I'm talking about. We sing, "What God has for me is for me." Therefore, don't allow anyone to keep you from going anywhere that you were destined to go, or becoming anything that you were destined to become. The spoiler wants to spoil. The spoiler is a hoax, a shyster, a charlatan, and a fraud. And if the spoiler is a hoax, then when you and I identify with the spoiler, we become a fake of a fake. We become the imitation of a phony. We become the fraud of a fraud. If the spoiler is a charlatan pretentiously dissimulating falsehood and deception for purposes of maintaining certain structures of power and wealth, and tricking us into believing that self-sabotage is in our best interest, what difference does it make what color the spoiler is? I don't endorse black hypocrisy over any other color hypocrisy. I don't endorse black on black oppression, black on black exploitation, black on black degradation, black on black genocide, or black on black anything else of a negative quality. Whenever any system establishes itself as absolute, the way it is, the way it was, the way it is, the way it must always be, that system must be called into question. I can hear a former governor of this state saying, segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever in Alabama. That mentality must be called into question. What made the civil rights movement and the practice of civil disobedience so radical and so revolutionary in this country is that it called into question every aspect of American society, not only the laws, but business practices, social policies, educational systems, scientific and technological establishment, the sports entertainment industries, and even the church itself. A strategy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in his pursuit of truth was to expose the spoiler, expose what the spoiler wanted to hide, reveal what the spoiler wanted to conceal, to have in plain sight what the spoiler wanted to keep from view. Excellence equals mature, conscientious scholarship. It has to be cultivated and arrived at with experience. It is something that must grow and develop and mature over time by going through and experiencing a combination of many things. Our academic enterprise must entail the exploration and discovery of that something special inside of each of us. It's not something that can be put on and taken off like clothing or cosmetics or jewelry. It's not something that can be bought and sold in the marketplace or manufactured on the assembly line or created in a scientific laboratory or legislated by Congress. Anybody can just do what the crowd is doing, say what the crowd is saying, go where the crowd is going. That doesn't make you special. That's just letting the crowd define you. Where is the true individual that is able to rise above the crowd mentality? You don't do something any old kind of way and expect it to be found acceptable according to the highest standards. You have a regard not merely for quantity, but for quality. I can hear my father's admiration. Son, either do it well or don't do it at all. And as I said at the open house last Saturday, I don't want to be respected because Barack Obama was elected President of the United States. I want to be respected because I respect myself. I want to be around those influences that nurture the best in me and that enable me to see the best in myself. Whether you're the College of Agriculture, Environment, when I say your college or school, raise your hands, or stand up, and sit back down. Whether you're College of Agriculture, Environment, and Nutrition Sciences, all right. Or whether you're the School of Architecture and Construction Science, whether you're the College of Arts and Sciences, or you're the College of Business and Information Science, or the School of Education, or the College of Engineering, or the College of Veterinary Medicine, or the School of Nursing and Allied Health, and even the graduate school, wherever you may be. I dare you to learn what it means to believe in yourself and to avoid unconsciously contributing to your own undoing. Learn what it means to accept yourself, affirm yourself, challenge yourself, discipline yourself, encourage yourself, forgive yourself, help yourself, humor yourself, inspire yourself, love yourself, motivate yourself, nourish yourself, respect yourself, support yourself, take care of yourself, but above all, believe in yourself. And I end this address as I began it. I share with you E equals MC squared. Excellence equals mature, conscientious scholarship, because I refuse to live my life as a historically castrated, culturally assimilated, mentally annihilated, socially alienated, morally degraded, or spiritually negated Negro.